Second-order bends are those made to change the tip or rotations of teeth. Most students have a difficult time with second-order bends since they are more difficult to visualize the result. It seems easier when described, move the root mesial or move the root distal. There are several ways to tip an upper lateral incisor, for instance, with the wire. We can tip the root of the upper right tooth to the mesial as we bring down the mesial incisal corner. Or we can tip the root mesial while intruding the distal incisal corner. Or thirdly, we can tip the root mesial while bringing up the distal incisal corner and down the mesial incisal corner. Now make each of these bends on the same wire next to each other using 018 stainless steel wire. Because this is a round wire, you will have more difficulty staying within the same plane. After completing the bends, you will undoubtedly have created problems in your arch form. Using your fingers, re-establish a symmetrical arch form.
Let's view another patient live that needs some finishing arch wire bends. We will start by converting the upper first molar tube to a bracket. We do this by prying off the plate using the bracket conversion tool. This will allow us to make bends between the first and second molars. On this patient, we would like to extrude the upper right central incisor. A space exists between the two central incisors. The space is larger at the incisal edge than it is at the gingival. This would indicate the necessity to tip the tooth, making the root go more distal. Otherwise, you will have the appearance of a space, even though there is no space at the gingival at the root surface. You could confirm the need for root tipping by taking a Panorex or a periapical X-ray. Again, we will use a white wax marking pencil to mark the arch wire. In this case, we also notice a problem with the upper left cuspid. Looking at it in the mirror, we will note that the upper cuspid needs to be moved more labially, giving it more prominence. So we will step out this tooth using a first order bend. We will now remark the wire, being sure the arch wire is seated entirely into the slots. You must make the arch wire bends halfway between each bracket. We also would like to tip the upper left incisor, the central incisor, root more to the distal, also making a correction to the midline space as well as bringing down the distal corner. This will affect a gable bend between the two central incisors, what's called a gable up. Each central incisor will have its root tipped to the distal. This is the step out of the upper left cuspid. We step it out, and then we step the wire back in. We will now check the arch form after making our bends to be sure that it is what we would like. I'm changing the tip, or the amount of angulation, between both central incisors. View the second order bends between the central incisors with the gable going up. In this case, we would also like to move the midline to the right, so I will skew the arch form, bulging out the right side and constricting the left side. This will aid in making a midline shift. You should reposition the wire, being sure that you do not turn the wire upside down. This is the reason that I feel that the doctor or the person making the arch wire bends should themselves reposition the wire. Do not allow a staff member to remove or reposition any of these custom arch wires. We will now use a steel arch wire ligature tie to place a force between the two central incisors. On this particular case, it's not much of a problem because the roots are going distal, making the crowns both go mesially. If making the arch wire bends in the opposite manner, be sure to ligate them together. In this particular case, we just knocked off the bracket. This now makes a very complex